People are jumping on. Great. Thank you very much. All right, welcome. I think the recording started. Welcome, everybody. Happy Easter to you as this Easter weekend. I wanted to keep this, I'll keep this relatively short for everybody. I know it's Easter weekend, but I wanted to, my mother raised me and she gave me a gift as I was growing up, the gift of dreaming big and having the ability. And my mother was always encouraging me to dream big dreams. And I know how that affected my life. And then I want to talk to you about the gift of affirmations and programming yourself for success. Whatever venture, whatever you want to achieve, whoever you want to become, programming yourself for success is the key. And now these are, I'm going to go back to my early days of my life, of how I started success and how I had overcome many, many failures and things that were holding me back. And we call them limiting beliefs. So when you're programmed, beliefs govern your life. If you think you could do something, it's one thing. You go, oh, I think I can succeed. You got maybe a good chance at doing that. But if you believe that you can succeed, you have the tremendous ability to do it because you become unstoppable from your belief structures. Now, where do you get your beliefs from? How are they formed? How do you know that you have a belief or you believe in something? Well, those beliefs come from your thoughts, and those thoughts come from the words that you hear. As you're young and you're growing up, and I'm a parent, and most of you are parents, and you're raising your children, and you have to think back to when you were young and growing up. By the time you're from 0 to 5, you have 50% of your programs in place, your belief structures. By the time you're 12 years of age, you have 100% of your belief structures, your programs, your thought patterns that govern your life in place. And these will govern your life unless you make efforts to change those belief structures and those programs. And those programs run your life. Now, when you're growing up, the average child hears no 180,000 times before they turn 18. That's a lot of no's. That's a lot of, and these beliefs, if you're hearing them that you can't do something, you're not good at something, don't touch that, don't talk to strangers. That's a belief structure that almost every child is raised with. Your parents teach you that from a standpoint of keeping you safe as a safety mechanism. Now, what happens in our business, in our industry, what do we tell you to do? Go talk to strangers. And you're like, oh, I can't. That's where that fear comes in because you've been programmed your whole life as a young child growing up not to talk to strangers, to stay away from strangers. And so now that becomes a limiting belief that starts to hold you back. And what we're going to talk about today are these limiting beliefs that hold you back and how you can overcome those limiting beliefs and how you can change your programs in order to become a success, because that's what we want. We want to have those beliefs. We want to have those new beliefs that we can change. Like imagine if you had a belief that it was easy for you to talk to people, that it was easy to be able to reach out and talk to people. And maybe you had a belief that you were great on the phone. And what would that do to your business? How would you do that? So when I was young and I was growing up, I had a lot of limiting beliefs. I really did. From, we were very poor when I was growing up. We were in an area, we were raised in an environment of lack. But my parents always were encouraging and always had me reading books of Think and Grow Rich. And that was very helpful for me. But, I remember when I was very young and I was in the music class and I wanted to play an instrument. I want to play the trumpet. I want to be Doc Severinsen. That kind of ages me on the Johnny Carson show. I watched him and my parents at night like everybody did. And I wanted to play the trumpet. And I saved my money and I raised half. My parents put in half and I got a trumpet. And I was practicing my trumpet. And I had this dream to be a trumpet player. And then one day at music class, I should say, I overheard my teacher saying to another teacher, man, that guy is the worst trumpet player I have ever heard. And as soon as those words went into my mind, I went, I'll never play the trumpet. And instantly, that dream I gave up on. I never played again, never tried again, never even thought about playing the trumpet because of somebody's comment to me that I was the worst they've ever heard. And it was a person of authority in my mind. And I looked up to them as the music teacher, and that shattered that dream. And you have to think, have you tried this type of business before? And people told you, oh, you'll never succeed at that. You don't have the skills to do that. You don't have the ability to do that. My mother's brother's uncle tried something like that and they couldn't do it. What makes you think you could do it? And those words coincide of your body and your soul and your mind, and they become a belief, a limiting belief that holds you back. So today I want to go over some techniques with you that I want you to write down and I want you to work on. I want you to think about this, and maybe you listen to this a couple times. And I'm going to be doing a series of videos on this subject and on beliefs, and to help you to become the success that you want, to whatever level that you're dreaming. So let's get started. Here it is. Number one is you hear me talking about goals all the time, and we've put out recordings to listen to from Brian Tracy. And I learned this from Brian Tracy's recorded series, Maximum Achievement. If you can get hold of that, he has a book called Maximum Achievement. I'll post that with this link on here. But that was a very powerful audio cassette. Again, I'm dating myself. It was an audio cassette series. They're now on CDs. But I listened to that and I took it to heart. And I said, Jim Rohn says, you first must become more in order to achieve more and what you want to become. So when you're writing down your goals, and we've always talked about positive present tense, personal positive present tense. I am. I weigh 200 pounds, or I earn $2,000 a week, or whatever that goal is that you have, put it in positive present tense. But now I want you to go to the next stage. I want you to start to activate the law of attraction. When God created the universe, he created universal laws, and universal laws are, a law of gravity is a universal law. We know that if you believe it or not, believe in the law or not, if you get on a roof and you jump off that roof, you're going to hit the ground. There's no question. If you believe you can fly, you're not going to fly. You're going to hit that ground. And because that's a universal law, we know that law of gravity. There are other universal laws, and the one that this will trigger the most is the law of attraction. The law of attraction, if you hold that thought of success long enough in your conscious mind, it gives your subconscious mind the ability to manifest it. You'll start to attract the people, circumstances, events, opportunities in your life that you want to as you attract that success by holding that thought in your mind. That's the law of attraction. A real simple way that you want to test the law of attraction. I don't know if you have ever done this. If you're going into an event or you're going to a grocery store and you visualize a parking spot in the front row, you think about it, you visualize it as you're driving to that location. I'm going to find a parking spot in the front row. And then all of a sudden, as you're driving up, someone's pulling up and you pull right in. That's the simple way of law of attraction working for you. And if you've done it, put it in the chat and say, hey, I did that and it actually worked for me. And if you've done that, you can continue to do that. And if you continue to do it on an ongoing basis, what happens? You get better at it. You get stronger at it. You become more confident that it's going to happen. And the more confidence that you have, the faster you're able to do that. Simple exercise, simple way of doing it. But what I want you to do here on this session is, and as you're watching this, or if you're watching the recording, I want you to write out your goals, your 5 goals, your 10 goals, whatever that you're pursuing. Whatever this is what I want to have. I want to make $10,000 a month, and I've never made $10,000 a month. But I believe that LifeWave, this is the vehicle. I want to make that happen. And then, so what we're going to do is we're going to write that goal down. And then I want you to write down the qualities and characteristics that you need to become in order to achieve that goal. Okay, what do you have to do? How do you have to start changing your thought process? How do you have to changing that programming and start developing belief structures where you start to believe that it is possible? How do you develop a new belief structure? By creating new thoughts. How do you create new thoughts? Well, your thoughts turn into your words turn into your beliefs. You start to believe that it is possible. So here's an example. I wrote down all my goals, and I wrote down all my limiting beliefs that I had. And I had a lot of them. I was not good on the phone. I was not good at prospecting. I had a fear of talking to people. I had a fear of public speaking, a tremendous fear of public speaking. There's no way I would think about getting up in front of a group of people. But I realized that if I wanted to become a millionaire, now you have to remember, I'm a bellman, okay? I couldn't get a 25-cent an hour raise. So that was where my mindset, my belief structures were at. Very limited thinking. I was making $2 an hour plus tips, maybe $1,000 a month I was bringing in. And I couldn't get a 25-cent an hour raise. And I was like, that was shocking to me. But after 2 years of doing that, but again, that's where my mindset was at. If I want to relate to you where I was at that time. So I said, you know what? I want to be a millionaire. I was raised in the Amway business, and, they had the fake it till you make it motto. And, everybody was, talking about how much money they're making and how kind of lifestyle they had. And I was raised in that. We never made it in the Amway business. We faked it until the bank came in and took everything away. But that's a whole other story. That was a whole other new set of belief structures. But I believed that I could become a millionaire. And so I had that dream. So that was one of my main goals. I wanted to become a millionaire before I was 25. And that was one of my main goals that I had. So I wrote down the qualities. What did I have to become? Who did I have to become? Who do you have to become? Jim Rohn says you first must become more in order to achieve more. So I made a mental effort, a shift, a focus to who I could become. And so I started to write down my goals, and I said, okay, if I want to become a millionaire, that's, I have $1 million in the bank. I have to create X amount of income. I had big goals, and I said, what do I have to become? So I said, well, I've got to become great on the phone. So I made an affirmation. I'm excellent on the phone. I always know what to say and when to say it. That was an affirmation, and I wrote that down. And then I wrote down that I'm an excellent public speaker. I'm a great speaker. I'm an excellent public speaker. And I started to write down that as an affirmation, started to say that over and over again. And I started to write down, I attract success. I attract success into my life. And one of my favorite affirmations that I believe any network marketer or any business person who's an entrepreneur, let's just go that route, needs to say to themselves, I have the ability to attract people into my life that help me achieve my dreams and goals. I have the ability to attract people into my life that help me achieve my dreams and goals. That's a powerful program. That's a powerful affirmation. And what I did is, even with weight loss, I'm saying my weight loss goal right now to myself. I weigh 220 pounds. I'm not there. And, affirmations are positive statements that you say to yourself in advance. That's what it is. It's a positive statement. I'm writing it down. I weigh, present tense, I weigh 220 pounds. And then I don't put a date on it. That's not my, it's not my goal. It's my goal, but it's an affirmation. And I go, another affirmation is, I make excellent food. I make excellent eating habits. That's an affirmation. So what I want you to do here, this is for Easter weekend. This is the most powerful gift I could give you to show you and to teach you how you can govern and change your life. Whatever that you want to be. Now, imagine to yourself, if you want to become a great network marketer, I want to make $1 million a year from network marketing. Is that possible? Absolutely, it's possible. But maybe your goal is I want to make $10,000 a month, have a full-time income. Well, one of the things you have to do is be great on the phone. I know what to say, when to say it. I'm excellent on the phone. It's easy for me to talk to. And what I would do is I would write down those goals, and I'd write down your goals, and then you write down your affirmation goals. So if it's a weight loss goal, if that's your main focus, you got to write down I'm an excellent, I make wise decisions when I eat. Boom. I'm a healthy eater. I'm programming myself. I'm programming how I'm doing that, because that repetition, remember, repetition is the mother of skill. And if you continually say it over and over, over and over, what starts to happen? It starts to become a program. There's a neural pathway in your mind. There are neural pathways. And as you say it over and over again, that neural pathway keeps going back, and you're programming your subconscious mind. So then you start to become that person. I told myself over and over again, I was going to be a millionaire. I was going to be a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. And then I thought, well, how does a millionaire act? Well, they're always on time. They're never late. They don't show up late. They show up early. They're on time. How do they dress? Do they have long hair, short hair? I started to really evaluate what I needed to change and who I needed to become. And one of the things I realized when I wrote down my affirmations and I wrote down my goals with my affirmations that supported it, I realized that I had to start associating with different people. I had to start limiting my associations or disassociating from people that were pulling me back and reinforcing my limiting programs, my limiting beliefs that were pulling me back toward. It's like the crab story. If you've ever heard the story of the crab fisherman, the crab fisherman that goes, this guy's going crab fishing for the very first time. He's never done it before. So they're out on the boat. They catch the fisherman catches a crab, throws it in the pot and puts the lid on the pot. And then the guy's watching, and he catches another crab, throws it in the pot, but this time he didn't put the lid on the pot. And he said, the first guy ever doing crab fishing said, hey, listen, you didn't put the lid on the pot. Isn't the crabs going to get out? He says, no, they won't. He goes, as soon as one starts to crawl out, the other one will grab onto it and pull it back down. And that's what crabs do. So make sure as you're on this new self-development move, this path that you're going on, that you become very aware of who you're associating with and how they influence you and influence your belief structures. But what you need to do is get clear on these affirmations. Now, I took it to the next level because I had so many limiting beliefs that I actually took it, and this is back in, I was 18, 19, in the early stages of my life, and I actually took an affirmation and recorded these positive statements, these affirmations on a tape, on an audio cassette. You could do it on your phone now. You could do it many different ways of doing it. And I would replay that every night. And I'd replay it in my ear and I'd listen to it over and over again. So I started to tell myself hundreds of times, if not thousands of times, that I was going to be a success. I was going to become a millionaire. I was going to become a top performer. I have one of the fastest growing groups in my company. I have the ability to achieve all of my dreams and goals. I have the ability to track people in my life that help me achieve my goals. Those were positive statements that I told myself time and time again. And then guess what happened? It happened. See, you have to think it. You have to act it. You start to think how you want to be. Right now, you're writing it down, and you're like, "Wow, I want to live. I want to have that lifestyle. I want to be debt free. I want to be full time in LifeWave and have this income. I want all of these goals." Then I have to start acting like I did. I started acting like a millionaire. I showed up on time. I was on the conference calls. I started to speak up. I started to learn how to speak in public. I started to raise my hand and said, I'll give my testimony. And I started to practice. And I started to make phone calls. And so I started to think it. I started to act like it. And then I became it. That's the secret of success. That's the underlying secret of success. You think it, you act it, and then you become it. And that's why I wrote a book on it. So you can think it, act it, and become it. And you can change any area. Anything that you find yourself, if you're picking up that phone and you feel fear, that's a limiting belief. That's a limiting belief that something is programming you. So you want to sit there and go, you know what? I'm excellent on the phone. I know what to say and when to say it. I'm great at closing. I'm great at asking for the sale. Those are statements that you can say to yourself that give you that ability to rechange your thinking. So that's the power of affirmations. Now, I'd strongly encourage you to get the book, Maximum Achievement. I'll put the link out there. I'll find a source. You can probably get it online for free. I listen to it in audiobooks all the time. But that was the programming of the belief structures of universal laws. Now, if you want to attract success, you start to attract the universal laws. And then what will start to happen to you? Here's when you start to say to yourself, and I'm driving my car yesterday. I have the ability to, because I want to go to that next level. I need to jump my business. I need to reach up and go to that next level and hit these and hit the goals that I have. And so I started saying, I have the ability, I attract people into my life that help me achieve my dreams and goals. You start saying that to yourself. And then you know what? Someone will text message you. Someone will reach out to you. Someone will, find them on Facebook and they'll go, oh yeah, hey, I want to try that stem cell product. It starts to happen because now you become a magnet. You become a magnet of success because you start to attract. And it's a universal law. It works every time. But you have to hold your goal, your thought in your conscious mind long enough in order to give your subconscious mind the ability to make it come true. Now, the bigger the goal, the longer you have to hold the thought. If you hold it for a week, it's not going to work. It didn't work. I tried that before. It didn't. Boom, your limiting beliefs come back. And I know that sometimes when I was building my business, I would have those limiting beliefs if someone quit or if there was a setback or if there was a failure, or I would go, I tried this before. Remember, I failed 10 times with 10 different companies before I became a success. And so those were holding me back, but I kept focused and I kept reaffirming myself and I kept visualizing. And here's the last point before I let you go. I promised you a short call, but it's taken 25 minutes. I'm checking my timer here. Penny's liking it. So here's the last thing. You've got to add fuel to the fire. How do you add fuel to the fire? The most powerful time in the morning to program yourself. Early in the morning, right when you're starting to wake up, or late at night, right before you're going to sleep. So first thing in the morning you want to do is you want to start reaffirming, today's going to be a great day. I attract the people I need to help me succeed. I weigh 200 pounds. I'm excellent on the phone. You are rereading your affirmations, and then you start to visualize that. Visualize yourself. What are you going to feel like? How is it that fuel, that the emotion, you get a clear mental picture. If you visualize, if you write down your goals, you got maybe a 50% chance of making them come true. If you write them down and you visualize them, you've got an 80% chance. Okay. But if you write them down, visualize them, and then put emotion of how you feel, you have 100% chance of making those dreams, that goal, become a reality. Because when you start to put emotion, that's the fuel, that programming, that subconscious mind, that kicking in that law of attraction, because you're seeing how it is, you're feeling it, you see it, in your mind's eye. What's it going to be like on stage, or what's it going to be like when you get your for $10,000 and you go and you tell your wife or your husband and you go, look what we did it. And what are the emotions that you're going to feel? Are you going to go on a trip? Are you going to go, how are you going to reward yourself? See how this is. And that's the power. That's the power of the law of attraction and the universal law. God put this law into place. It's there. You just have to activate it. You just have to have the techniques necessary to activate it. And these are the techniques that took me from a bellman to a millionaire, and I was able to help 40 people become millionaires in that process because of the thought processes, the belief structures. And once you have those belief structures in place, boom, you're unstoppable, because you can take it into any business, any area of your life, anything that you want to do. You just clearly write out your goals, clearly get clear, write out your affirmations. What do I have to do? Who do I have to become? How do I have to manage my thinking? And today in the world with all the COVID and all the fear and all the craziness. You have to guard your mind, protect your mind more than ever, and keep it laser focused on what you want to achieve. And this will accelerate your growth faster than anything that you can do. You just start to think it, you start to act it, and you become that person. And you all can become millionaires and live the dreams that you want more than anything that you've ever imagined, because the power is in you. God gave it. You put it in your heart. God is not capricious. He would not give you the dream nor the desire if he did not also give you the talents and the ability to make that dream come true. So you have the talent. You just have to activate it, and you have to develop the discipline in order to put it into practice on a daily basis. All right, guys, happy Easter to you. I hope you put this training, these techniques into your world, into your life, and make them part of you so you can do great things.
Phenomenal words.
Thank you, Michael. Let me stop the recording.